Hello everyone and welcome back. This is the Chess Lover and it's been some time since I last posted. So really sorry about that. But without further ado, we'll go on with the game. So I've selected a 2023 game. This is the details. This is the Tech 100 Global Chess League 2023 and this is Anand versus Duda. And here it's 15% rapid game. So let's go on with the game. So Anand opens the game with e4, rook e5 by Duda, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, going for the right Lopez in the line. One sec. Yeah, we have knight to f6 and now d3. So this is all normal book moves. We have bishop to c5, we have bishop captures in c6, d captures in c6, and now knight b to d2, just simply developing. Knight to d7, bringing the knight back. This is very theoretical. You want to go f6, bishop d6, bishop d6 in the future. We have knight c4 by Anand with castles by Duda, castles, and now rook to e8. Very simple move, just guarding the pawn. We have king to h1. This can serve as many different purposes. We can go, move the knight and f1 to the future, and this may sound a bit crazy, but even somehow you can even go here. Okay, not really that. Honestly, there's even bishop e3, and you take with the pawn, not with the knight, and then you have the rook open. But of course, taking with the knight and knight f5 is also fine. Anyway, king h1 serves as the main purpose being f4. Anyway, we have f6 by Duda, strengthening the pawn here. A better move would probably have been b6 because this bishop and rook needs to be developed. You can go bishop a6, but preferably bishop b7, move the queen, move e7, rook a d8, and this should be how you activate your pieces. Duda goes for maybe a little bit more centralizing a move which is more precautionary to the center. We have f6 by Duda, and just give me a moment. Yeah, sorry about that. We have knight h4. Sorry, yeah, we have knight h4 by Anand. He wants to maneuver his knight to f5. May hopefully bring the queen to g4, f4, and start a beautiful attack against Duda's king. We have knight to f8, trying to get back resources. Bishop e6 can be a plan. And of course, knight f8 always serves as a maneuvering purpose. These are possible ways to play this. Knight e3. Anand does the same. He wants to bring his knight to f5. We have knight to g6, now trying to trade knights, but Anand declines. We have knight hf5, hoping to bring the queen to h5. Bishop captures on e3. We have knight captures on e3, and now bishop to e6. Duda simply developing the piece. We have b3 now, hoping to develop the bishop. We have queen to d4 now, attacking the rook, and now rook to b1. Sorry about that. Yeah, so now after rook b1, the obvious threat would be bishop b2, a more humanly move. We have rook 8 d8 by Duda. We have bishop to b2, and now queen to d6, just moving back the queen. We have f3 now. Preferably g3 would be better so as to get f4 into the game as soon as possible. Furthermore, you could, since black is guarding this square a lot, you can go knight g2, bishop c1, and then forcibly push f4. However, here we have f3 by Duda, which sorry about this is not going too well. C5 here, played by Duda, just simply controlling the center using these two squares, using the doubled C pawns. Now we have g3 by Anand. He wants to stop knight f4, but the main purpose would be to, of course, go f4. We have b5, Duda hoping to start some sort of attack on the queen side, because if you guys know your principles, when you start moving your pawns up and try to attack on the king side, you guys have to attack on the other side. Since white is attacking on the king side, you have to attack on the queen side. Yes, there's no king. White king is also here, but by doing this creates more pressure and entryways for the black rooks. For example, if someone opens up c4, takes, and he can bring his rook to b8 and use the b file for attacking purposes on white's king. Now we have queen to e2 by Anand. He wants to connect the rooks and just a good developing move. And here Duda goes rook d7, which, like I said before, wood is not the best because c4, which is what I said earlier, is a more better move. I mean, if you look at it, it looks much more wilder and crazier when compared to rook d7. But the thing is, you've already given Anand countless opportunities and moves to go like knight g2 f4, and about 2-3 moves later, max to max, or at least a few moves later, he's either going to get h4, h5, or he's going to get f4, f5. And so black needs to start some sort of counterplay very quickly on white's king or on the queen side, and so he can get his rooks active, as these rooks are not really doing anything. For example, if we analyze the position a bit, we have d captures in c4, b captures in c4. Let's say the simple rook fd1 here is played by Jan Duda. Queen a6 is possible, now attacking to a2, and now most of white's pieces become vulnerable. So all right, so after c4, dc4 is a possible move. White can even go bc4, but this does not give it the best. So after dc4, bc4, if knight captures on c4, thinking that's like a good free pawn, we have queen a6 that Duda can do, pinning the knight because the queen would hang, and also attacking this pawn. If you're too protective of pawns with a4, you will get into some trouble. Rook d6 is a really strong move which Duda can play. Again, you cannot take. I mean, this does look a bit, appealing, but there's this beautiful bishop h3 intermezzo, attacking the rook, threatening queen g2, and after rook g1, queen f3, it will be made after rook g2, queen g2. So that's not possible, and other than that, black has a huge threat of rook c6, completely putting so much pressure on this knight. You don't really have anything. Even if you attack the rook c6, that even invites rook c6, and now you're losing a pawn either on a4 or c4, but probably black will take it on c4 instead of a4. And so this is how easily it can get very dangerous for whites, and that's why as a more humanly approach, c4 would have been better, but okay, let's not dwell into that. With rook d7 by Duda, and now rook to f2, simply hoping for doubling it up and going f4. We have queen to c6, now using advantage of this g3 move, which may have weakened this diagonal. Furthermore, white does not have a light square bishop, and now, like I said earlier, h4. Anand realizes that f4 can get a bit risky because this would open up a lot of lines. For example, here f4, this could actually get a bit dangerous after ge, and f5. Now, as you can see, this pawn is pinned. We're putting some decent amount of pressure, and the engine, as you can see, even recommends king g1, just giving up the pawn. And yeah, so this actually becomes very crazy. Some of you might think, oh, but there's f5, but trust me, it's not this easy, as there's like e captures d3, and then you bring your queen into the attack, and now it looks like you're completely winning. But black goes here, takes, take the queen, I take this, your knight's hanging. It's a very complicated position, very hard to play with in a rapid game. Totally understand Anand's decision not to go f4, so he goes for the most straightforward and simple h4, looking for h5 with c4 by Duda. Now he plays c4, but preferably knight e7 would have been better, because although I said, oh yes, you have to do it quickly, you must see white's idea. White's idea is h5, and this with tempo can get very annoying. So if you go knight e7, you don't give it the tempo, and it really does not look like a useful move. However, Duda goes c4, not blame. He cannot be blamed. He has 4 minutes and 19 seconds, and this is only a 15 plus 10 rapid game. Anand takes on c4 with the d pawn. We have b captures on c4, and here Anand, to me, makes a slightly surprising decision. He takes with the pawn. Now, of course, if you ask the engine any day, it would say h5. Now, um, of course, this is why I thought it's a bit surprising, because I thought, of course, Anand played h4. He's gonna go h5 as soon as possible. But all right, again, we can't blame him. It's rapid. Now, however, some of the people out there might be wondering: knight captures c4, bishop captures c4. Queen captures c4 check, queen captures c4, b captures c4. Now, this is a very instructive moment, and I think I must say this out. Now, in this position, what is that difference between just this? Like, what is the difference? Well, first of all, the main difference is, of course, there are the bishop, knight, and queen. Now, here's an instructive moment. How does having more pieces affect these three weak islands, or you can say pawns too? Now, let's take a moment here and let's go a bit slowly, because as we can see, after knight captures c4, bishop captures c4, queen captures c4, queen captures c4, bishop b captures c4. Now the difference is that since there are lesser pieces, you can think it in this way: there are lesser pieces, which means there are lesser pieces to defend the c4, c2, and a2 pawn, which makes them more vulnerable. Furthermore, here rook b8 can be easily done, simply pinning this bishop, and after, like, for example, c3, defending the bishop, black's rook can easily jump in there. His knight can come in, whereas with the queen and the knight, you can go knight d5, knight f5, and the story is completely different. And I think this is a very instructive moment. So whenever you're going to make these weaknesses, as we can see in this game, don't trade pieces. That's never a smart decision. And Vishyana clearly just tells us through this game, because after b captures in c4, well, he didn't trade everything, and now, well, he won. So here we have queen c5 by Duda. Of course, the engine, like I previously said, knight e7. Even I realized something. Not only does it stop h5 with tempo, you can go knight c8, knight b6, knight d6, maneuver the knight, go here, yeah, basically anywhere, wherever your knight goes later on. So 97 is the most high-purpose move, but it's pretty hard to see in a 15 plus 10 rapid game. So Duda plays queen c5, a much more natural move to stop any kind of bishop a3 and c5, to just allow the pawn to push. But now the pawn cannot even move, and it is easier to target. With rook f1 by Vishy Anand, because he realizes there's really no point of trying to double. F4 will not be achieved so safely, so we've already played h4, so now might as well bring the rook back into action. Now instead, a very hard move spot would actually be king to g2, and the reasoning for this, well, confusing move, so to say, is that you really want to go h5, rook h1, h6, but again, it's rapid. But in my personal opinion, I think Vishy could have saw this, but I mean, we still can't blame him. Not only is it the time, but the pressure of playing these events. Yeah, so king g2 is actually a typical idea you have, but the thing that's so, like, hard about the king g2 move is because Anand has played h4 like at least 10 moves ago, and now, like, after you play like 10 other moves, you just, like, humans, when they play chess, they tend to remember the first moves, like the previous or second three previous moves. They can't just, like, it's very normal for them to just forget that they ever moved the h4 pawn there. In this case, that's not what happened, because Anand remembered his rook. He could have remembered the pawn, but all right, fine, he missed it. It's okay. We're all humans. Here, Duda plays rook d8, doubling up, trying to get more control over the d file with bishop to c3. Now defending this d2 square, which is also very important, still maintaining defense, and even in the future allowing moves such as rook b5 as the rook is now cleared. Even bishop b4 can be played, but this is less likely as it gives control to d4. We have queen to a3 now by Duda. He's just attacking this bishop as it's undefended. We have rook to b3, now defending. And here Duda plays queen a6. Now, if you guys wondering what if queen takes a2, well, you guys just need to see this rook a1. And yeah, okay, it's just a queen lost. So you can't take. So we have queen to a6 by Duda, trying to maintain constant pressure on this pawn, but to no avail because Anand plays his next important move, h5. He finally, I don't really care if rook b5 is the best move, not this. I don't care. He finally moves his pawn, kicks the knight, asks black a question, and now he's preparing for a dangerous attack in the near future. You know what? You don't even need to go this. Boom it out, 8-6. You'll see in the game. So we have knight to e7 by Duda. Like we said, this is a plan. However, in the later part of the game, you'll see what he did instead. We have h6 now by Anand. Like I said, breaking this strong chain of pawns. And now here, Duda plays a bit of a surprising move. He plays knight to c6. Now, everybody would be like, what? Knight c8, knight b6, knight d6. This is so easy to find. But very honestly, if you're playing the game, you would automatically get this d4 square in your mind, and you're like, oh, that's a nice square. Then you want to go knight c6, and so you can go knight d4, which is Duda's plan, which is good. But if it was a classical game, I probably know he would have slowly thought and understood that actually does really nothing. However, Anand goes rook e1. I guess he was short of time, but he still has 2 minutes. I don't know why. He could have actually gone here to double up, or like I said previously, go king g2, rook h1, or just take on g7. Anything is basically fine here. However, he goes rook e1, which is not the best of moves, and knight d4 in this position is a good move because the rook is slightly misplaced. Now the rook is not really guarding this, which is what led to this annoying moment for white. With bishop captures on d4, rook captures on d4, and it's very important to note, do not take with e captures. This is a very big mistake for some of you guys out there. You're like, first of all, you think that the knight has to move and you win the pawn, but there's the very simple knight d5. Second of all, this d pawn is actually a weakness because it really can't move. I have 3 garters. I'm gonna bring another one. Your pawn is gonna be weaker than like these pawns. That's how like bad it is. You go c5, yeah, and then you give like these holes at the behind the pawns. So it's good a move by Duda. We have rook captures d4, and now just tearing open the king's defenses. We have rook to d2 by Jan Krzysztof Duda and queen f1, the only move to save the queen. King captures in g7 and now g4, hoping to go knight f5, queen h3, really start a roaring attack. Now here Duda makes a slight error. He goes queen a5. Not really too sure about why. I guess the only reason could be like he wants to stabilize this, or I guess he wants to. Yeah, actually not too sure why he played queen a5. Guys, in the comments later on, if you do know why Duda played this or have some kind of idea, make sure to type it down, and I will pin the comment that I feel is the best of all. And if I haven't pinned anything yet, that means I don't feel anything is that up to the mark. Anyway, so as I said, do it in the comments. Anyway, we'll go back to the game. Here we have Anand's queen g1. Another just slow waiting move, but also having a cunning eye on this diagonal, which can be really useful. And now Duda goes king g6, getting a bit afraid of knight f5. How can you blame him? He has 40 seconds, and he's playing under huge pressure. He wants to go as safe as possible. Now, Vichy goes queen g3. He wants to bring his queen. He wants to spring his queen into action. And now Duda goes a bit greedy. I guess under panicky time, he takes on a2. Now, This is not the best because it allows the g5 infiltration for Anand. Instead, a better move would be the calm 8-6. I mean, you're playing a rapid game. You're playing against the legend Anand from India. There is no way you can keep your nerves when your king is on g6. We can't believe him. We can't. We really can't. If you play 8-6, you're really having good control of your mind, nerves. It's really high. Anyway, Queen takes a2 played by Duda, and now the eval bar springs right up to white's favor with a +3 evaluation. Yeah, because the very simple move Queen h4 is good, but Queen h4 is the best move according to the engine. But in my opinion, it's g5. What Anand played, especially in a rapid game, just tearing open this, looking into that rook g1. No human can just be so calm in this, and so did the cool Duda. He also cracked under the pressure. F captures a g5. But now Anand gets queen e5, attacking this, hoping to get the rook in. This is really scary. Duda goes back with the queen. He wants to defend, also threatening to win the pawn. But Anand doesn't care about any of those. He just moves in with f4. G captures an f4 by Duda. I mean, now the inaccuracy bar, you can say anything it wants. But last thing, queen d6 I mean, which human on earth will be actually brave enough to do this against Anand? There's no one. But you guys can analyze this game on your own if you want alone. But after a long variation, white is still winning, but it's much harder for white to win. He has to spot important moves. Anyway, with G captures an f4, and now Anand just simply bringing his knight, and this is not this is not a move that looks like, okay, I mean, I get it, your knight is cool, it's attacking this, okay, disconnecting your rooks, but the beautiful idea is to bring the rook over. Look at this. This is so easy. You can just like move the rook anywhere, like rook f3, and then you can take it on f4, and you have well placed rook. But okay, also queen f6 and many other reasons. Here bishop captures on d5 by Duda is last try. However, this now lets rook g1 happen on the board, and here Duda, Jan Christoph Duda resigned, but this may have happened. According to the engine, this would have been a very simple mate for Anand. Duda, foreseeing this, doesn't have any intentions of continuing in the game, as he knows the legend Anand is good enough to spot a mate. So thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. If you do really like this video, remember to comment down and share to other people, and hit the bell icon to make sure you don't miss any of my new videos. I'll keep you updated, and please remember to like and subscribe. See ya.